Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Life Chronicles and Deep Dives podcast. I'm here with Coach Cornelia, and she is still in Denmark. How's it going, Cornelia?
Going well. How about you, Micah?
It's a little rainy outside, and the weather kind of took a shift from the late summer kind of like heat wave that we had, and it's kind
Mhm.
of now drifting down to like the cold, wet. We call it sometimes the big dark because we're further north, in the United States, so it just stays dark quite a bit, and it stays wet and rainy all the time for the next
That's
9 months.
that's my favorite weather, actually. When it's gray outside and it's cold and windy and rainy, it's my favorite weather.
Amazing. Well, everybody, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out the link in the description box below for our websites. Also, please don't forget to share this around so that way, YouTube can push the algorithm to get more of our videos out there. We love to share the content with you guys. So I think in this episode, Cornelia had brought to me a couple of videos, clips. I think we'll sync them together.
I'm borderline, it's getting late. I feel alive. I'm gonna show you why. Touch my spine and just a
Well, that was the video, guys. I hope that you enjoyed watching that as much as we did. It's very interesting. So Cornelia actually brought this to me, but I think I'm going to drop something before I pass it off onto her. And I think that this is new fashion. So on the website for, and I'm not sure I'm saying this right, Materialis Fecales, uh, is that it's French? I don't know if I'm saying it right. Um, so on their website, the first line that you'll see if you Google search the company, is provoke society. So I think what they're doing is it's very provocative. It's very interesting. I mean, I don't know where fashion designers come off and they kind of like switch to this you know it's not fashion that you would wear every day. It's something that you would see, I don't know, in a movie, Hunger Games. They had like those elaborate costumes, some sort of fantasy, sprawling epic, with, I don't know. There was stuff in what was that? Had Ghost in the Shell. So like in that movie, they had some interesting costumes. Like it's just, you see this and you think, oh man, am I gonna watch a dystopian movie or, like some sci-fi, space epic? Think what was it? The Fifth Element. Like the Fifth Element or
Mhm.
something
Yeah.
crazy. And I it just brings those memories up, but then you kind of like look at it and it's like overly it was kind of over the top. What do you think, Cornelia?
So the name, you know what the name means in French? It's materials fecal, which means shit. That's the from my point of view, that's a shitty fashion show and shitty clothes. uh, but of course, they want to make a buzz in the media. Everyone is talking about it, and that's how they remain relevant.
Hmm.
Doing these kind of things. I don't know if you remember or if you watched the Balenciaga show a few years ago. They were just walking through the mud. So the models were walking through the mud and they were having this dystopian music and they were imagining the end of the world. And it's been the same, just like this one. It was very a huge buzz. Everyone was talking about it. So maybe this is what they want. Of course, I'm not sure that if they are selling those clothes, but I'm sure that many people would wear those clothes.
Hmm.
And the woman who is doing those clothes, she is wearing those clothes. So she's dressing, and I'm gonna put a small video in here. She's dressing with that kind of clothes.
Hmm.
I don't understand. I understand the need for sensational. and the fashion designers wants to make sensation of what they are creating. But what I don't understand is why are they making a sensation from horrible things like shit, you know?
Right.
Couldn't you find anything else? That's like
Well, I think
the
it has to do with their like, like their first line, like their tagline is provoke society. So, and then like if you click on the a link, it's like, the French name and then it's like fecal matter. So you're like, okay, well that's kind of disturbing, but then you look at it, they're not actually, when you first sent it to me, I was like, are they going to be wearing, actual fecal matter? And are they going to be engaging with that? I mean, because there are kinks, there are people that do that, to each
yeah.
their own, but at the same time, not something I would consider to be like hyper fashionable. And I don't understand where that came in, but it draws our attention, right? So it caught your attention, and then you sent it to me, and I was like, oh, what is this? And then when we finally got the videos to work, I was like, okay, so now we're getting into it, right? So you've got
Mhm.
like different styles of fashion. You've got your what you can wear every day. You've got your
Mhm.
dressing and
Casual
going
ones.
out kind. And you
Yeah.
got your what they would call, I guess, high fashion. And I don't know if
Mm.
this counts as like high fashion, but I do think it's interesting um, that they've brought all of this provocative nature into the fashion element. And I wonder if it aligns with other agenda items that people in the shadows maybe, trying to push.
I'm not sure if it's provocative in the way that I'm horrified, and people are horrified about it. Normal people, you know. Maybe there are some, like you said, that taste this kind of fashion, but most of the people are horrified and disgusted. I would have sent you the videos with something if it was something beautiful,
Hmm.
like something ethereal to bring us some good mood and to bring us some um, um, great feelings. I feel that lately, uh, most of what some people are doing is to bring some bad feelings into us.
Hmm.
I don't know why. Having such a low negative energy maybe helps them with something. I'm not sure. There are so many conspiracy theories about this, like bringing the world in a very low negative energy space, and so the demons could feed out of it. So yeah, it is interesting, but at the same time, it is disgusting for me, at least, and for many
Hmm.
people. I've been reading a lot about this fashion show in Paris these days, and many people were maybe what they wanted in shock.
Right. It brings me to mind, what was it? The Olympic Games had like an opening ceremony, right? That was very provocative. I think it definitely irritated the last Olympic Games. I didn't watch too much of it, but I do remember seeing posts about the opening ceremony where I guess it was
Yeah.
supposed to depict like a version of Jesus or something, and it deviated from
Mm.
like a normal depiction of you know what we would consider normal, right? And so I wonder if it is part of that, where we're trying to normalize that, deviancy. We've been on about, like the major push for like the trans movement. And if you look at the videos, and I don't know if all of the clips will be in here when we show it, but if you look on YouTube, you can find the full videos. They're about, I don't know, 20 minutes long each. And so there are some men dressed in like very exposing feminine clothes, and they're modeling it for fashion. Uh, and there's also women that are also dressed in, provocative clothes for fashion. So like when I look at that, what's the end goal? If we continue to push the normalization of deviancy,
Hmm.
look at pride parades, right? Look at, like what people are wearing to that. And there are kids going to pride parades
Yeah.
being exposed to hypersexual activity, and then they're going to learn that that's normal. So I
Mm-hmm.
wonder, if in the background, you mentioned Balenciaga, there are reporters that I see online, or independent journalists, I guess, that have, went after Balenciaga for,
Yeah.
child exploitation
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
implications. Um, so they allege that Balenciaga is part of like a global cabal of pedophiles, which could be a possibility.
Yeah. It could be. Actually, it was about a collection from them for kids with a lot of BDSM, probably it's called.
Mm,
I don't know exactly
hmm
the maybe I hope I'm saying it right. So the collection was for the kids, and they
mm,
put a lot of BDSM elements in it. So it wasn't just some journalist, it was a huge part of the world who talked about this. And they decided to cancel Balenciaga for a while, and they didn't go into the shops, they didn't buy anything anymore. People are having a short memory, and then Balenciaga is high on horses again. They had a fashion show in Paris as well. So, yeah, the Olympics in Paris, you talked about it. So it's been dedicated, I felt that it was dedicated to the transgenderism movement, and then to this attack on Christianity that it's happening in the last years, and I don't understand why. By doing that, I mean, they said it was not that. It was not like trying to mock Jesus. But why would you do something that might look like it, right?
hmm Well, I mean,
Uh,
so that goes to actions over words. They're saying something while also doing the exact opposite of what you're
mhm,
doing. You brought in a
yeah,
good point about how like they're mocking, Jesus, but you're also right that they're, kind of playing up the transgender ideology while trying to attack Christianity. And I wanted to bring in that I think that in order to establish transgender ideology as dominant or, uh, normal, they would
mm-hmm.
need to get rid of, we've talked about this many times before, in order to bring something new in, you have to remove what's there, potentially stopping it. So I think
Yeah,
the attack on Christianity, I mean, even in the United States, we had Joe Biden in the previous FBI and DOJ like investigating school parents that wanted to go into school board meetings and investigate Catholic churches. They were putting undercovers in these, places and trying to entrap people. I think that that's dangerous. Back to the fashion aspect of it. I think they were trying to mock Jesus, and you mentioned demons earlier. What do you think about
mm-hmm.
that?
I mean, I told you about it. I'm not sure if you had the time to watch it. Sam Smith had like a show 2 years ago, probably, at the Grammys, and it was everything was devilish, or I don't know how to say it, a
Hmm
Satanist show from my point of view. Maybe I'm too Christian, I don't know, but I'm not, I don't think I am too Christian. So everything red, horns everywhere. He was the devil. The other ones were smaller devils who were worshiping him. Um, the whole room was red. So it was such a creepy feeling. So you can see these kind of things in Beyonce music, in Madonna's music, in the last years, I mean, where they are just. I remember Beyonce tried to appear on the stage as Mother Mary because she was pregnant, which is really crazy, you know. I mean, there are things that even though you don't believe in Jesus or Mary or Allah or whatever, you have to respect other people's beliefs, right? So you don't
hmm
go and mock this or pretend that maybe you are Mother Mary and so on. So there are so many people talking about these demons in Hollywood and in the world right now.
hmm
I I don't have an opinion about it, but some things are taking me to the place where, okay, they want to create a dystopian world where we are. If you look at the furniture, everything is white or gray or black. So this uniformity without warmth, without that feeling of home. This furniture today doesn't give you a feeling of home. So I feel that they are trying to bring us in a place where the new normality is this one. You know, like in those movie with the end of the world, where they are living like the normal people are living in trenches and they are dressed with whatever they can find. Yeah, that's how it feels.
So you think it's bringing potentially like the downfall of society?
Mhm.
Hmm.
Somehow, yeah. Maybe
Okay.
not tomorrow, but after a while, who knows? You know, I was talking to a friend about what does normal mean. So normal means that most of the people are deciding that something is normal. Most of the people. Now they are trying to make normal something that only maybe not even 1% of the people are thinking is normal. So it's very upside down. The things are very upside down. I've been seeing today a doctor from the United States. She was talking about how she was forced into this children abuse with the transgender movement.
Hmm.
And she was saying that she had a patient, a girl who pretended that she is a wounded dog. And then this doctor decided to ask the medical staff, her bosses, to ask them where is it normal and where is it like a mental problem.
Hmm.
And she's been bullied for years for this. And they told her that she needs to accept that that girl is a wounded dog and she has to treat it for that. And she didn't want to. So now she has the power to speak again about it. But she's had a very, very rough period because she didn't want to treat that girl as a dog. So, yeah, she said that at one point, everyone was called to take these classes on how to help transgender people. And they were forced into the program just like the kids.
Hmm.
And I'm so happy that this stopped. I'm so, so happy that this stopped.
Well, so bringing it back to the fashion aspect of it. So are we looking at like a gateway to that? I mean, obviously we've talked about the capture, like the education system being captured. We've talked about governments allowing and propagating this stuff. And then going after the, opposition. We've talked about potentially global cabals, running, certain organizations. I mean, even Hillary Clinton, the emails that were leaked from uh Podesta's laptop talked about sacrificing chickens to Moloch. And then, her aide, Huma Abedin, is somehow now married to Alex Soros. And you
Yeah.
look at that and you're like, there's your, connection. Clinton Foundation backed Ghislaine Maxwell, creating a company called Terramar, and then, they all work together. So it's
Yeah.
interesting. It's interesting.
They all work together. The woman who made this fashion show, and she's French, she is considered like the mother of all fashion in the world. I don't understand why. And let me tell you something a little bit about this woman. So she was a very normal woman till one point. She was a lawyer or in financing, something like this. So very normal French woman. Very beautiful woman actually. And then at one point, something changed with her. And she decided to get into the fashion shows, even though she didn't have a background in it. So she just started overnight. She painted her fingers black. If you, it's gonna be a video in this podcast, and you're gonna see her fingers are black, her eyes are black. She tattooed some signs on her forehead. Um, and then she became this very, very powerful person in the fashion industry. And there are so many people here who cannot explain how she became this big because I mean, you can be big in the fashion industry when you're coming with some great design ideas.
I think that
So
drives up her popularity is the controversial aspect of her. It gets a lot of attention. Look, we're talking about it now. I mean, but you got people that are probably talking about
yeah,
it in positive aspect as well. So,
there's many people who are talking about uh, this side of society who is very transgender, even though they're not transgender in per se, but they're in this part of society who are very um, who are just embracing everything without getting through their mind filters,
mhm.
Wow, this is great. Uh, how did she have? I saw someone saying, and it's not just someone, it's a person on this side of things who was wondering, how did she come up with this idea? And I was thinking she was shitting. And then she said, I'm gonna shit in a fashion show and I'm gonna show it to the world, and the people are gonna be wow. If you were to listen to conspiracy theories, you're gonna see that people are saying they sold their souls to the devil, and they are worshiping the devil with what they're doing.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a
So that
human construct, but
so that brings us back to like the demon aspect of it, like gateway in. So you're saying that something changed in this individual, so then she had
yeah,
a like complete switch, where she went from like what we would consider a normal working life to like this exotic fashion industry. And then because she switched and she went extreme, she got, probably quite a bit of financial backing, probably a lot of money that you would see, like I would call it, it's not like blood money, it's like dark money. So it's like money from organizations. I mean, I'm not saying she does. I'm saying this is how, potentially this
it
happens. Like
happened.
your
Yeah.
financial backing comes from organizations that don't really want to be seen, um but they want to push, like a message, right? So and you might be right if we're looking at, dystopian world in the future, where we have and I think we're headed there. I don't know how we'll get there. It could be, AI, Skynet type stuff, Matrix type stuff, or it could be, just a like massive global Civil War type deals or whatever. But at that time, I think what you'd see is you're going to see like a elite class of people, and then, like a lower class of people. The elite class of people will be, engaged in all of the, you would call it sin. I would call it, deviancy, all of these things. And I'm not saying that deviancy is necessarily wrong all the time. Deviancy is just means to me, it's something that's different from your natural born path. So man is man, woman is woman, they come
Mhm.
together, make a baby, right? So anything that deviates from that, right? Any activity. Um, but I could see, like high society and then low society, but there wouldn't be any middle, right? So I think the elimination of the middle is where, kind of we're headed, high and low society. And I think that fashion industry is there, and you're right, because like Balenciaga, maybe they push the limit too much on their on that um child show that you were talking about. I haven't seen it, but like let's say they did push that
It
limit.
was a clothing line, so it was clothes for the children
Children.
with
Okay.
BDSM.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that they like pushed it too far. Like, if you want to make a change, if you go too far, it's shocking to people. They resist it, right? So you
Mhm.
have to do a little at a time. So I think what you're seeing potentially through the fashion industry, is, normalization in the adult sector of, clothes, where we're starting to go away from like high fashion and just fashion as a example of what we could be, or an expression, or how elegant something could be, pretty, gorgeous, whatever, to how deviant something can be, how provocative something can be, right? And I think when you look at that, being provocative, something that is provocative also draws a lot of attention. It brings people to what you're trying to present, right? So like, to be provocative. I mean, even like we've talked about, being provocative on the podcast, you know, how it draws people in on the internet, how people on TikTok being provocative, you know, gets them likes, you know. So, but the end
But
goal.
Mike, at the same time, we chose not to do it, right?
Mhm.
Maybe we are just sometimes when we are too outraged, mostly me, because you're more calm and steady. Maybe we are talking about more provocative things, but we chose not to get into this circus. They could choose as well, but they didn't.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay to talk about something. I mean, it's not like we're sitting here doing like a whole fashion show right on our show, you know, with, you know, provocative clothing that would not, you know, not something I normally wouldn't wear or something like that. But we also don't get into you know, huge shouting. We can disagree on things, but we don't get into like huge shouting matches specifically for entertainment. But like you can see where that draws people in, the drama, the tension, the unknown draws people in. So like in where I live, they have every once in a while some of the bars do like drag shows, and that
Mm-hmm.
brings in a lot of people. And so, you know, and I've been to one. At the time my ex-girlfriend worked there, so you know, I was just hanging out at the bar, you know, while she was working behind the bar. And so I've been to one in that aspect. And so I saw massive amounts of people coming in there, crowds. Now this is 21 and older, right? But it's similar. They do like a little fashion show. They do, you know, singing songs, right? They're all men dressed up as women. And then, you know, you think about that in the Pride Parade at the same time, they're, you know, doing the same thing, you know, and they're, I bet at a Pride Parade, because I've been to one down in Seattle. There's lots of nudity, but there's also lots of kids walking around, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of crazy. And that's what you saw in the video for these fashion shows is like near nudity, deviancy, like overexposure, like stuff that you wouldn't normally expose your kids to. Obviously, I didn't see any kids in the background of the video, but you see the trickle down effect of that at the Pride Parade. There are children. That's where you know, like they're marketing to somebody that's going to wear that kind of thing out and somebody's going to see it. What's the
Yeah.
goal? Kids. Balenciaga, you said this line was targeted towards kids. They went too far too fast. The only way to do it is to now, you know, maybe bring kids in through, you know, pride initiatives,
Mm-hmm.
LGBTQ initiatives. But what's the end goal? Is the end goal to normalize, you know, sexual relations with children, which I am absolutely against? Like, are we supposed to be headed like backwards? I don't think that's it.
I mean, in the Netherlands, they're already trying to pass a law where they pretend that it's normal to be attracted and have sex with kids.
I saw that.
So yeah, uh, isn't it crazy?
Well, so when I look at it, we talked about this before. Like, I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast, but we've talked about it before. But like, let's say if we were to go back to, um, I don't know, a couple hundred years, right? You would want to get married, you know, as soon as you could. Like, so females were getting married, you know, when they were, you know, pubescent, right?
Mm,
And so like that was normal. We've as a society moved away from that. I don't know if that's societal evolution, but you see the effects of that like lizard brain, you know, activity. I mean, I'm talking about marriage, you know, colonization of America times, right?
mm-hmm.
They were getting married younger then. Um, go back even further, my guess is that, you know, they were engaging at you know, way younger ages to like, you know, keep this species going.
Mm-hmm.
Society's advanced past that. The again, the trickle down of that is that you have the deviation, which is the population in society that we go after, that we target, that our FBI is finally now during this administration going after. Um, that are going like the pedophiles, you know, like the people
Mm-hmm.
that are, you know, going after children. But then, you know, high society, same time, Balenciaga pushing this, and then you bring kids to pride parades, you educate them in LGBTQ ideas in school, and then they're already predispositioned to have that normalization. Some of the books that they're talking about, um, wanting out of schools literally have pictures of animated pictures of, adult men and young children, boys and men. We're talking about like images on how to do things with your body. Like I'm trying to figure out where this becomes normalized or
Yeah.
why. So the fashion industry could be another aspect of pushing that, you know, through the ranks.
I think it's like they're trying to make a general painting, and a little bit from there, a little bit from there, and then people are starting to get used to it. Um, so we have to say it again, and we've always said it. We are not against transgender people, as long as, from my point of view, as long as you're diagnosed by a doctor, you can get treatment, you can do whatever you want with your body. If you're not diagnosed, then I don't believe you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's this, and at the same time, we have to have some boundaries. Okay, you want to be provocative, but you have to have some boundaries. It has to stop at one point. We are
Mm-hmm.
just keep pushing and pushing and pushing these boundaries more and more and more, and then you get to this. Um, let's say they're gonna do this in Netherlands. They're gonna make pedophilia legal. Then what's gonna happen? How am I going to take my kid into the world, right? Because I'm gonna be worried.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what you were saying about girls getting married earlier, they were getting married, like they were
Mm-hmm.
getting into families, having kids, having a normal family life. Now we are talking about girls being just sexualized to more men, or boy the same with the boys,
Mm-hmm.
without any idea of family life, without any idea of this cell of the society. The norms of the society is going to dissipate. So they're
Mm-hmm.
going to be like, I think they're going to be in a very bad place, from a mental point of view, emotional point of view as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though those girls were getting married early, they were having a support at home, a husband, children, the parents were
Mm-hmm.
helping, whatever, she was in a stable family.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, there's a big difference between that and then, like trying to create a family, trying to move, genetic code forward to build society to not like die, survival,
Hmm. Hmm.
and what we're talking about now, which is literally just pleasure. And if
Hmm.
you looked at some of the video, there's, in some of that, you can see that in this fashion show, how they're, trying to bring that it's pleasurable to be this, right? And to each their own, right? If you want to, like, if somebody was dressed up like that out in town, I'd be like, okay, well, that's a little bit, odd for me, but do whatever you want, right? I've been to raves, so I've been to like, like music festivals and stuff, and people dress up or dress down, quite a bit at those things. So, I mean, but it's context,
Exactly. Yeah.
you don't dress up to go to a rave, to go to Sunday church or anything like that. It's interesting to see. Like we've talked about it before, the de-evolution of society, um, and how all of this kind of like plays into, um, you know, they have to remove their Christianity out of society in order to make their, to meet the goal, which is to spread.
Yeah. If you were to listen to these conspiracy theories, they want to put us down mentally, emotionally, and so on, to have this dystopic idea about world. Like, you imagine I'm coming home to my pillows, my paintings, colors, depends on what colors people like, and so on. And then you go back, you go into this uh, white, gray, black house with no colors. Everything is just what's that called, like minimalistic concepts.
Yeah,
Everything is
minimalistic.
small, yeah, which is horrible. I hate it. So you don't see the emotion anymore. So you're taking the emotion out of it. Then you're taking the emotion out of these situations with children, transgender people, and so on. You're taking the emotions from here too. You're taking the emotions from the fashion shows. Until now, you could have, I mean, until years ago, and there's still fashion designers, so it's not everyone who's doing it. So there are still fashion designers who are creating beautiful clothes, and
Mm-hmm.
it gives you a good feeling, while these kind of shows are giving you a bad feeling. So the emotion, they're working on the emotions again. At the same time, digital ID, like your favorite subject.
Currently, yeah.
Now they are fingerprinting everyone who's coming in Europe.
hmm
The words
Facial,
and
biometric. Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah. So they are just, I think they're trying to paint a picture with these kind of things that are driving us in one point, which I don't like, and I hope it won't happen. But I think it's gonna happen at one point.
Well, at certain points, like you look at it, like we've got the higher control. They want the digital ID, they want the fingerprints so you can travel in between countries. I think the United States has like biometric identification. You're allowed to opt out of it, but they don't really want you to. And then you wonder, like we look at more control, right? They create more laws, more regulations, more this, more that, but then they also want to let loose hypersexuality, whatever this movement is. But who's going to get caught in the middle? I think you're going to see kids get caught in the middle. I think you're going to see a lot of developing minds like lose the ability to think for themselves because they'll be so bought into the instant gratification and sexual pleasure that comes from, yes, and I'm talking about the younger children, the instant gratification sexual pleasure that comes from deviation behavior of the LGBTQ movement, the trans movement, because the more people, like, I mean, any movement wants to spread, any ideology wants to spread. And if they aren't creating children together, which, if they're gay, they're not, if they're lesbian, they're not. Trans people have been, they create kids, but anyway,
They
like
are
if they're
allowed,
not doing it,
actually,
they need to
they are
bring
allowed
other
to,
kids.
yeah. So I think in the United States they are allowed to have this, I don't remember how that's called, that woman who is making the kids for them.
No. I'm
But
talking about
oh,
like a man that thinks he's a woman is then
uh-oh.
getting pregnant with a woman that thinks they're a man. Yes, like that kind of stuff. And I've seen that before. Like, oh, we're
Yeah.
pregnant, and it's a dude that's like looks looks feminine, and is dressing feminine. Then you've got, the female who's
Mhm.
dressed like a male with a beard or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, you guys are just straight, you're just a little messed up, dressed I don't know how that, and to each their own, but where's it coming from? Right? So where is this coming from? It's got to spread, person to person. It's a shared delusion, I think. I think there's stuff in the foods that are weakening our brain. But you brought up something earlier that I want to bring back. This negative vibration. So like we talk about like high vibration, high energy. Um,
Yeah.
as something that's like, everybody wants this high vibration. And I notice like when I'm pushing people away, I have a lot of energy. So like when I'm out, I'm like, I could be loud, I'd be quiet, but I have a lot of energy. I carry myself upright. I don't really care what other people think. And so I can tell the people that I'm like pushing away because they don't maintain that same level of energy. My energy is
Mhm.
off-putting. I consider it, my light is so off-putting to these people that they try to stay away from me.
Mhm.
They really can't interact with me because to them it brings great shame, disappointment, whatever. Um, and I notice it. Low vibrations. Uh, I mean, so I'm not saying everybody that I've interacted with like this is low vibrational. They just may not be able to equalize with the energy that I have. But the people that have this low vibrational energy, we're talking about, what's the point? And you're right. So in order for, let's say if we are Christian, I don't believe in that. I don't know. I don't know if I believe in it. I see it as a control construct, but in the same essence is that if it's real, that means that demons and the devil has to be real, right?
Mhm.
So could you be correct? Could people be, spreading this low vibrational energy? This lady that made this huge change, like what was the change? Did she, become a witch? Did she become, possessed by demons? Did she, make a deal with a demon or a
Mhm.
devil? Right? When we look at that,
Exactly.
it's a
They say,
possibility.
yeah, they say that she's pregnant with the devil. So
Are
that's
we
too crazy.
bringing,
Yeah, but
are
she's
we bringing them
83.
into this
So
world?
who knows? So I'm not sure about this theory with the demons, but somehow it's like light and dark at this point. That's how I feel. I'm not sure it's demons or whatever, and the angels, but it is dark and light somehow. Um, but I'm not talking about, like, for example, uh, this we've been talking about this so many times. These young minds who are corrupted by this system,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot say that they are coming from a dark place.
Mm.
They are kids, right? But they are being taken to a dark place at one point, because most of them have depression, have at this point, many of them have second thoughts about what the change in their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going through a lot. So you cannot say that they're coming from the dark. But the people who are instrumenting this, like George Soros, he might be the devil, who knows? Or I understand that his son is much worse than he is, so he might be the devil, who knows? If we go into to think about this theory with the demons, that's what they're saying in Hollywood. You are selling your soul, you are sacrificing someone you love to get success. And I remember there was a hip hopper or something who was saying that every time he launches an album and he's having success with it, someone dies, someone close to him dies. And he
Mm.
was talking about this contract he's done with the devil. So I'm not sure if it's true, but it it looks like a little bit crazy, like they don't have good intention, that's for sure. They
Mm-hmm.
don't have
I mean, even if it was true, the devil wouldn't want you to know it's true, so he would hide it from you, correct? I actually have a book. Let me grab it real quick. Okay, I'm back. I have it's called the Infernal Dictionary. So this is like an abridged version. So it's very short. And I think it's from a much larger book, but it's got like pictures of the demons and like a little
Mhm,
description of them. And there's
mhm,
like a much bigger version of this that I'll probably try to buy. I thought I was buying that when I bought this. But it always interests me, which is demons, the occult, because it's like an unknown. We've heard about, hell, we've heard about heaven, we've heard about Christianity, other religions' versions of it. But demonology, witchcraft, it all is very interesting to me, and I'd love to explore it in another, more in-depth episode if we could.
mhm. Yeah, it would be interesting to do it. But don't forget that what I believe is, so what was Lucifer before being the devil, the Satan?
He
He
was an
was an
angel, right?
angel. Yeah. So I'm always saying this. Everyone has something good in it, even he does, you know. There is something good in there. So we can we can change things if we believe enough. If you are to believe in religions, in the good part of religion, right? Jesus, Allah, and so on, of course it's gonna be demons. So if we're going on this Christianity way where you have angels, you have demons as well. So
Mhm.
then you can see it, you can see this as a fight between good and evil. You can say Charlie Kirk was, I don't know, analyzed by demons working through people, because all of them are working through people.
Mhm.
Some for the good,
Absolutely.
some for the bad. Yeah.
Speaking of Charlie Kirk, we have Kaya just ordered our Freedom shirts, so we got those in the mail on Friday. So I'm not wearing it now, but we will be sporting those shirts shortly. We had to put them through the wash, and they're very white, so we have to wash them by themselves.
Mhm.
But we're excited to wear that.
That's great. Yeah.
Well, everybody, if you liked the video, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out the link in the description box below for our websites. Don't forget to leave comments in the comments section, questions, comments, concerns. If you want to see more of our videos, you can check them out, and we'll see you in the next one.